sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so you wanted to deep dive on that Ohio State Buckeyes win, huh? Against Texas in the college football playoff semifinal.
Big game.
Huge. We got you covered.
Definitely.
We're going way beyond just the highlights.
Way beyond.
And getting into like all the nitty-gritty details.
Love that.
With Joey Kaufman's analysis from the Columbus Dispatch.
Okay.
He called it a redemption story.
Redemption story.
And that's what really like got me kind of curious.
Yeah, it is an interesting way to frame it, for sure.
Right.
Because, I mean, after that Michigan loss, it felt like all the air had just been let out of Ohio State's season, you know?
Totally.
So to see them come back like this with a playoff win, no less,
Yeah.
it says a lot about this team's mindset.
For sure. They were definitely the underdogs going into this one.
Absolutely.
What do you think was different this time around? What allowed them to like handle the pressure and pull off this win?
Well, talent-wise, they've always had the potential.
Right.
I think what we saw in this game was a new level of mental toughness.
Yeah.
They didn't let the doubts creep in. And that goal line stand at the end, talk about resilience.
Oh, man, that goal line stand.
Intense.
Yeah. For anyone who's maybe not familiar, a goal line stand is when the defense prevents the opposing team from scoring a touchdown when they are so close to the end zone.
Yeah.
Like right there on the goal line.
Twice away. Yeah.
It's always like super tense. And in this case, it was literally the difference between a win and a loss for the Buckeyes.
Exactly. And think about the context here. This is a defense that has struggled in clutch moments earlier in the season,
Oh, yeah.
especially against Georgia and Michigan, right?
Big time.
To see them locked down like that
Yeah.
against Texas
Yeah.
with the game on the line
Yeah.
shows a tremendous amount of growth.
It's almost like they exercised some demons on that goal line.
It really does feel that way.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting? While they were making this incredible defensive stand, they also racked up a season high in penalties.
Really?
And Ohio State is usually a very disciplined team.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we reconcile those two things?
Yeah, that was surprising to me too. Especially that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Trevayon Henderson.
Oh, yeah.
It cost them a scoring opportunity and just felt uncharacteristic.
Absolutely. And it raises questions about, how those penalties impacted the flow of the game and whether they were a sign of nerves maybe getting the better of them. What do you think? Did the pressure get to them, even if just for a few plays?
Maybe. I mean, penalties are often about a lapse in focus, right?
Yeah.
And you can't tell me if those guys weren't feeling the heat.
Of course not.
Especially with Texas's defensive scheme
Yeah.
that was specifically designed to shut down Jeremiah Smith.
That was a fascinating aspect of this game, for sure.
Really?
Smith had been lighting it up in the playoffs.
He had been.
But Texas effectively took him out of the equation. They were using double teams, bracketing him with their safeties, and their star cornerback, Jahdae Barron, who just won the Jim Thorpe Award.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. So basically they threw everything they had at him.
pretty much. I mean, Jahdae Barron is one of the best cover corners in college football. His instincts, his speed, his ability to read the quarterback's eyes, it's all top-notch.
Wow.
And by double-teaming Smith, they were forcing Will Howard to look elsewhere.
And did it work? Like, were they able to shut him down completely?
Texas did manage to limit his impact, at least for most of the game. But, what really impressed me was how Ohio State adapted.
Okay.
They didn't panic when their star receiver was taken away.
So who stepped up in his place?
Well, we saw the tight end, Key Scott Jr., and wide receiver, Carnell Tate, emerge as reliable targets for Will Howard, especially on that crucial go-ahead drive in the fourth quarter.
Oh, that drive. We can't talk about this game without talking about Will Howard's unexpected run on fourth down. I mean, talk about a gutsy call.
Yeah.
He's not really known for his mobility, is he?
Right. He's not typically considered a running quarterback, and I think that's why that play was so effective. Texas wasn't expecting it. He caught them completely off guard, and it changed the entire momentum of the game.
Kaufman described it as a pivotal moment in the game.
Yeah.
And I think he's right. It showed a different dimension to Howard's game and really put the pressure back on Texas.
Yeah. I think it also showed his composure under pressure.
Yeah.
To make that decision on fourth down with the game on the line takes a lot of guts. And it says something about his leadership as well. He wasn't afraid to take matters into his own hands.
It really does make you wonder what other tricks he has up his sleeve. We'll definitely need to dig into that more later. But for now, I think it's clear that this Ohio State team is full of surprises. They defied expectations, battled through adversity, and ultimately found a way to win.
And they did it with contributions from all over the field. This wasn't just about one player or one moment. It was a true team effort.
That's what's so exciting about this team. They're playing with a fire and a unity that we haven't seen from them all season. And that's what makes them so dangerous heading into the championship game.
It does raise the question, though. Can they sustain this level of play? Can they overcome the inevitable challenges that they'll face in the championship game?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I think to answer it, we need to look more closely at some of the key aspects of this win, starting with that defensive turnaround.
Let's do it. That goal line stand was a defining moment, but it's only part of the story. There's a lot more to unpack there. That goal line stand, it was like watching a wall of granite.
I know, right?
You could practically feel the intensity through the screen.
Yeah.
How did Texas not score there?
I know. It was edge of your seat stuff. Yeah. And I think Kaufman really hit the nail on the head when he talked about how this defense has been haunted by those late game struggles against Georgia and Michigan.
Yeah.
This time, it felt like they were just determined not to let history repeat itself.
Right. And it wasn't just about effort, though that was certainly there. You could see the impact of Jim Knowles' coaching. They were disciplined, they were reading the plays well, and they were swarming to the ball with a purpose. It was a clinic on how to execute under pressure.
And talk about a game-changing play, that strip sack by Jack Sawyer that he ran back 83 yards for a touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
A squib sack is when a defensive player tackles the quarterback and forces him to fumble the ball, which they can then recover. And in this case, Sawyer not only got the fumble, he took it all the way to the house for 6 points.
Amazing.
It completely flipped the momentum.
Moments like that are what define a season,
Yeah.
Sawyer's play was electric, and it energized the entire team. But, it's interesting to think about how that incredible defensive performance almost got overshadowed by those penalties.
It's true. It's like they were playing with fire a little bit. And like we were saying before, it does make you wonder if maybe like the magnitude of the moment got to them.
Maybe. But to their credit, they didn't let those mistakes completely derail them. They found a way to keep their composure and make the plays when they mattered most.
Which brings us back to Texas's strategy for containing Jeremiah Smith. It was surprisingly effective. What stood out to you about their approach?
Well, their defensive coordinator clearly did his homework.
Yeah.
They knew that Smith was the key to Ohio State's offense, and they came in with a game plan specifically designed to neutralize him.
Right.
The double teams, the bracketing coverage, it was all very well executed.
It felt like they were almost daring Ohio State to beat them with someone else.
Yeah. And to Ohio State's credit, that's exactly what they did. They showed a level of adaptability and resilience that we haven't always seen from them.
Which makes that fourth down conversion by Will Howard all the more impressive.
Oh, absolutely.
You mentioned it earlier, but I think it's worth digging into a little deeper.
Yeah.
He's not exactly known for his mobility, but he made a clutch play with his legs when it mattered most.
It was a gutsy call by the coaching staff and an even gutsier execution by Howard. You could tell Texas was completely caught off guard. It's those kinds of unexpected plays that can really swing the momentum of a game.
It definitely injected some life into the Ohio State offense.
Well, sure.
And it showed that they're not just a one-dimensional team.
Right. It also highlights an interesting point. You can't underestimate the impact of a quarterback who can make plays with his legs. It adds a whole other dimension to the offense and forces the defense to account for that threat.
So what does this all mean for Ohio State as they head into the championship game?
I think they've shown that they're more than capable of competing at the highest level. They've got the talent, they've got the resilience, and they've got a coaching staff that can make adjustments and put players in a position to succeed.
But they're going to be facing an even tougher opponent in the championship game. What kind of challenges do you anticipate them facing? What adjustments will they need to make?
Well, for one thing, they can't afford to be as sloppy with penalties.
Oh.
Those mistakes could be even more costly against a championship caliber opponent.
Good point. Any other areas of concern?
I think they also need to be prepared for their opponent to try to replicate what Texas did in terms of shutting down Jeremiah Smith. They'll need to have a plan B, maybe even a plan C, if their primary receiver is taken out of the equation.
So it's all about adaptability and having multiple weapons at their disposal.
Exactly. But it's not just about the X's and O's. I think the mental aspect of the game will be crucial as well.
What do you mean?
Well, this was a huge win for Ohio State. It's given them a boost of confidence and momentum, but they need to guard against complacency. They can't let this win go to their heads.
So they need to stay focused and hungry.
Absolutely. And they need to manage the pressure that comes with playing on the biggest stage. It's easy to get caught up in the hype and the emotions of a championship game.
But the teams that win are the ones that can stay grounded, stick to their game plan, and execute under pressure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we'll be watching for as Ohio State prepares for this final challenge. How they handle the mental side of the game could be just as important as their physical preparation.
All right, so we've talked about the defense, the penalties, the offensive adjustments, and the mental game. What else do we need to consider as we look ahead to the championship?
Well, I think it's important to remember that this is a team that has constantly evolved throughout the season. They've faced adversity, they've learned from their mistakes, and they've come out stronger on the other side.
So they're not the same team that lost to Michigan earlier in the season.
Not at all. They've grown, they've matured, and they've found a new level of belief in themselves. And that's a dangerous combination for any opponent.
And that's what makes this championship game so intriguing. Can they maintain this upward trajectory? Can they overcome the final hurdle and achieve their ultimate goal?
Those are the questions that will be answered on the field. And I, for one, can't wait to see how it all unfolds.
Me neither. This Ohio State team has been full of surprises, and I have a feeling they've got a few more tricks up their sleeve.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yep.
They've proven that they can adapt, they can overcome, and they can win when it matters most.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them such a compelling team to watch.
So, to our listener out there who wanted the inside scoop on this Ohio State victory, we hope we've given you a deeper understanding of what made this win so special.
We've gone beyond the headlines, beyond the stats, to really unpack the key moments, the strategic decisions, and the individual performances that shaped the outcome of this game.
It's been fascinating, dissecting this game and seeing how Ohio State pulled off this upset.
It really is.
But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier.
Okay.
That idea of redemption.
Ah, yes. Kaufman's framing of the game.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Well, it got me thinking about how this win, it's bigger than just a single game.
Right.
It's a statement about the program, their ability to bounce back from adversity, from that tough loss to Michigan.
Yeah.
Do you think this win changes the narrative around Ohio State going forward?
I think it absolutely does.
Yeah.
It shows that this team has the mental fortitude to overcome setbacks and rise to the occasion when the pressure is on. That's a valuable quality in any team, especially one with championship aspirations.
It's like they rediscovered their swagger. Remember that Ohio State team that dominated for years?
Oh, yeah.
It feels like they're tapping back into that same energy and confidence.
And that confidence can be contagious. It can inspire younger players, future recruits, the entire fan base.
Yeah.
This win has the potential to be a turning point for the program.
So, looking ahead to the championship game,
Okay.
what are the key takeaways from this Texas win that you think fans should be keeping in mind?
Well, first and foremost,
Yeah.
Ohio State needs to maintain this level of focus and intensity. They can't afford any mental lapses or silly penalties, especially against a championship caliber opponent.
That's for sure. Any other key lessons they should carry forward?
I think they also need to embrace the element of surprise.
Okay.
They showed against Texas that they're not afraid to pull out some unexpected plays,
Yeah.
like Will Howard's run on fourth down.
Right.
Keeping your opponents guessing could be a real advantage in the championship game.
So don't underestimate the power of unpredictability.
Exactly. And lastly, I think they need to continue to play as a team. We saw contributions from so many different players against Texas. It wasn't just about one star player carrying the load. That kind of team unity will be essential against a tough opponent in the championship game.
So it sounds like the ingredients for success are there.
I think so.
They've got the talent,
Yeah.
the coaching, the momentum, and perhaps most importantly, the belief in themselves. But can they put it all together when it matters most?
That's the million-dollar question. And the answer lies somewhere between careful planning and that unpredictable magic that makes sports so captivating.
Well said. So for our listener out there who's been following along with us on this deep dive, here's something to ponder as we leave you.
Okay.
Ohio State has shown that they can win under pressure. They've proven they can adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
But can they handle the weight of expectations that comes with playing in the championship game? Can they stay focused and execute their game plan when the lights are brightest?
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure. This Ohio State team is on a mission, and they're not going down without a fight.
And that's what makes the story so compelling. We've seen them at their lowest point after that Michigan loss.
For sure.
And now they're one game away from achieving the ultimate goal. It's a testament to their resilience, their determination, and their unwavering belief in themselves.
And it's a reminder that in sports, as in life, anything is possible if you have the heart and the will to never give up.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a fascinating journey unpacking this Ohio State victory, and we can't wait to see what unfolds in the championship game. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have the ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get